Missouri, located in the heart of the Midwest, is home to a thriving agricultural industry that has been a cornerstone of the state's economy for generations. With a land area of 43.2 million acres, over 27.5 million acres of farmland in Missouri is dedicated to growing a wide variety of crops and raising livestock. Over 93,000 farms dot the state's rolling hills and fertile valleys, with an average farm size of 298 acres. Soybeans, corn, and hay are the top crops grown in Missouri, making up a significant portion of the state's agricultural production. In 2022, Missouri farmers harvested around 6 million acres of soybeans, 3.7 million acres of corn, and 3 million acres of hay. Livestock production is another major part of Missouri agriculture, with cattle and calves, hogs, and turkeys among the top animals raised in the state. Farmers in Missouri raised 19.7 million turkeys, 3.5 million pigs, and 2 million cattle and calves in 2022. Let us first take an in-depth look at the world of livestock farming in Missouri. According to the USDA stats, the total value of sales of livestock and livestock products in Missouri was around $5 billion in 2022. The top commodity was cattle and calves, which generated a total value of sales of $2.4 billion. The sale of hogs and pigs generated $1 billion in revenue, while sheep, lambs, poultry, and eggs generated $2.5 billion in revenue. Following this $1 billion revenue, the pork industry is a significant part of Missouri's agricultural sector and generates more than 22,000 jobs every year. According to the Missouri Pork Association, the state is home to over 3,600 pig farms, which collectively raise more than 3 million pigs annually. Many of these farms are family-owned and operated with a deep commitment to animal welfare and sustainable farming practices. The pigs are kept in indoor facilities called hog barns, which are designed to provide optimal living conditions for the animals. The pigs are housed in groups within the barns, which allows them to socialize and interact with one another. The barns are designed to provide ample space for the pigs to move around freely, exercise, and maintain good health. The pigs are provided with clean and dry bedding, which is changed regularly to ensure optimal hygiene conditions. One of the key benefits of hog barns is that they help to reduce the risk of disease transmission among the pigs. In addition, hog barns allow pig farmers to closely monitor the animals and provide them with personalized care. These barns are, thus, able to produce high-quality pork products that meet the highest standards of nutritional value and taste. Missouri's pork industry is a model of vertical integration, with many of the state's pig farms operating as part of larger pork production companies that oversee every aspect of the production process, from breeding and raising the pigs to processing and distributing the final pork products. This approach allows for greater efficiency, cost savings, and quality control. It's just one example of the rich diversity found within Missouri's farming communities. Missouri is also a major player in the cattle industry, producing some of the highest quality beef products in the country. With over 2 million head of cattle, Missouri is one of the leading states in cattle production. Missouri farmers use a variety of farming methods to raise cattle, but the most common method is pasture-based grazing. This means that cattle are allowed to roam freely on open pastures, grazing on grass and other vegetation. During the winters when grazing is not possible, Missouri farmers feed their cattle with hay. This hay is usually made from grasses that were harvested during the summer months when they were in abundance. Missouri farmers use modern techniques to ensure the health and well-being of their cattle. Farmers also use technology to monitor the weight and health of their cattle, which helps them make informed decisions about feeding and breeding. One example of technology used by Missouri cattle farmers is the use of ear tags. These tags contain information about the individual cattle, including their age, breed, and medical history. This information is then entered into a database, which allows farmers to track the health and well-being of their cattle over time. After the cattle reach maturity, they are transported to a processing plant where they undergo a series of procedures to prepare them for sale. The processing plant employs skilled workers who are trained to humanely handle the animals and process the meat. The meat is then packaged and stored in refrigerated trucks to maintain freshness during transportation to retailers and wholesalers, who in turn distribute it to grocery stores, restaurants, and other food service providers. But these cattle ranches couldn't exist without a crop widely grown in Missouri: hay. Missouri farmers earned approximately $329 million in revenue from hay production in 2022. Whether it's alfalfa, clover, or timothy, hay is an essential source of nutrition for Missouri's livestock. So let's take a closer look at how hay farmers in Missouri are cultivating and harvesting this critical crop. Hay is typically grown in the spring season. After the hay has matured and is ready for harvest, farmers will typically use specialized equipment to cut and dry the hay. One common method is to use a mower conditioner, which cuts the hay and crimps the stems to help speed up the drying process. Once the hay is cut, it needs to be dried to a moisture level of around 15 to 20%. This is usually accomplished by letting the hay dry in the field for several days, depending on the weather condition. Farmers will often monitor the drying process closely to ensure that the hay doesn't get too dry or too wet. After the hay is dry, it is typically baled using a baler, which compresses the hay into large rectangular bales. These bales can then be stored in a barn or other covered areas and are ready for use or sale. We've seen that hay production in Missouri generates a substantial amount of revenue for farmers, but there's more to the story than just the sale of hay. Using hay as a feed source for livestock actually has a positive impact on the local economy. It helps reduce the cost of feed, making livestock farming more affordable. This in turn can lead to higher quality meat and dairy products, which can fetch higher prices in the market. Overall, the benefits of hay production extend beyond just financial gain. Meanwhile, in the heart of America, Missouri farmers are hard at work, cultivating one of the most profitable crops in the state: soybean. Soybean farming generates a staggering revenue of over $3.5 billion in 2022, making it a crucial source of livelihood for these dedicated and hard-working farmers. Creating a good seedbed is the first and crucial step to the success of the crop. To achieve this, farmers use specialized equipment like plows, cultivators, and disc harrows to clear the fields of any weeds and debris and till the soil. The plow is used to break up the soil, while cultivators and disc harrows further loosen and aerate the soil. Once the soil is prepared, it is time to plant the soybeans. Farmers typically do this in the spring, after the last frost. The seeds are planted in rows using specialized equipment called a planter. A planter is a machine typically designed for sowing seeds in rows with a consistent seed depth and spacing. To ensure the correct spacing between plants, some planters use a vacuum system that sucks the seeds into a chamber before placing them into the furrow. This ensures that the seeds are evenly spaced and that there is no competition between the plants for resources. Once the soybeans reach maturity and the pods have formed, it's time for farmers to begin the harvest. They use specialized equipment that features a rotating blade to carefully cut the soybean plants at their base, ensuring the crop is collected efficiently. After the harvest, the soybeans are thoroughly cleaned and sorted, ensuring that only the highest quality beans are processed into various products, including animal feed, cooking oil, and soy milk. The harvesting process is a crucial step in the soybean farming cycle, and attention to detail is essential to maximize crop yield and quality. Missouri's central location and transportation infrastructure make it an ideal location for the movement of agricultural products across the country. Missouri's agricultural exports contribute significantly to the overall exports of the United States, helping to boost the country's trade balance and support domestic economic growth. Through their production of key agricultural commodities and their role in the food supply chain, Missouri farmers and ranchers thus play an important role in ensuring the country's food security and economic prosperity.